Will your family enjoy Lookout Cay, Disney Cruise Line's newest island destination? Let's discuss. Welcome to Princess and Scoundrel, where we take you along our scrappily ever after, from Fantasyland to Tatooine and everything in between. I'm Sarah.
And I'm Steven.
And we were on the preview cruise for Lookout Cay at Lighthouse Point.
It is a tongue twister for sure. And I think there's still that debate of like, is it Key or is it K? There's like the back and forth.
Here's the thing.
Disney calls it Key, so in this conversation, we're calling it Key. C-A-Y is pronounced Key.
And
then the funny thing
is,
make
sense though.
It's Lookout Cay at Lighthouse Point on Eleuthera Island.
It's either Eleuthera or Eleuthera. I think it's Eleuthera. The island in the Bahamas.
They did not make it easy.
Not easy.
I think they just kept adding so that way you get tired of saying all that. It's not a private island. It's just
it's not even a private island. But yeah,
it's Lookout Cay.
Lookout Cay. But it's so, the whole Key thing is just so confusing to me, because when we went to Castaway Cay for the first time, I was like, oh, okay, like Castaway, like sure, we're calling it Key now. This is what it is. But then you did a 5K on Castaway Cay.
Yeah.
And then and that was like our first cruise was Disney. And then I went on the Royal Caribbean cruise and I went to the Perfect Day at Coco Cay, which is spelled the same way. Oh my God. I'm on a roll. I did. I even said it's spelled. Oh God, that was awful. Okay. Yeah. But why? Can we just decide? Like pick one.
Yeah,
I like to refer to it as Lighthouse Point so that in my head I don't get mixed up, because I will use them interchangeably and it infuriates me doing it myself. So if you're listening to this, I don't want to infuriate.
So yeah, you're going to call it either Lighthouse Point or Lookout Cay. Key. Lookout Cay.
Key. Yeah. See? No, I rhymed again.
This is going to be a rhyming episode.
Oh boy. Okay. So what is Lookout Cay? It is Disney's newest island destination. It is not a private island like Castaway Cay, in that Castaway Cay is truly just an island that Disney owns. And they have all kinds of fun activities and beach there. Lookout Cay is a portion of an island called Eleuthera in the Bahamas. And I don't know why we have Lookout Cay at Lighthouse Point. Like you said, they just added name on top of name. When it first came out, it was Lighthouse Point, but it's a similar concept in that it is an area that is reserved for Disney to have beaches and bars and food and have it be a cruise destination, versus going to your typical ports like Nassau in the Bahamas or any of the other islands that are out there.
And I think one of the big things after going to the island, what I kind of learned was they made big attempts to preserve the natural, just like the natural area.
The ecosystem, the landscape, the everything about the island. They tried to touch as little of it as possible, which going into it, we didn't know that.
Yeah.
And so some of it I think is to the detriment of guests, but to the benefit of the island in general. So it's one of those things where it's like, oh, it kind of sucks for us, but great that they're doing this.
Yeah.
And we'll go through some of those things, but I think that's where, if we're looking at what we want to have this conversation on, is really looking at the new island destination, Lookout Cay, and comparing it to Castaway Cay. We've been to both with our family, with our 2 young kids, who at the point of this last cruise were 9 and 5. So still fairly young family. And looking at all of the different things that each of them had to offer, and is going to Lookout Cay the right thing for your family?
Yeah.
Because it was interesting. There were things that we were not prepared for necessarily.
Yeah. I think the most glaring and obvious one that it was almost reported immediately is, and then again, it's part of that, them trying to preserve the ecosystem, is the bridge to get from the ship to the island.
Yeah. So let's set the scene. We wake up We were on the preview
I was
cruise.
awake already.
You woke up really early, but we were on the preview cruise, which meant we were the first paying guests. This was the very first day that Lookout Cay was open to the public, so nobody knew what to expect. Like there was no media or anything like that. The media was on this cruise as well, and so we're like, oh, okay. We wake up and it's like, yay! We were on a veranda cabin on the side where you could see the island. Throw open the curtains and the island's like way over there. You're like, that's kind of weird. I thought we were stopped. And there's just this like skinny little bridge all the way to the island. You're like, well, how's that going to work? And because it was the first day, we didn't get to leave the ship until they were saying about 10:30 is when they thought it was going to be ready. And they warned us ahead of time. They said, hey, it's the first day. We've got to get things off. We have things on the ship that need to be out there for you guys to enjoy. We need to get crew out there. We need to get things set up. So we're like, okay, well, just hang out and wait till 10:30. But you can watch this show that they have on the TV that's kind of walking you through like, here's what it's like and here's what to expect. And they're like, yeah, there's like a nice little breezy walk. It's about 10 to 15 minutes, no big deal. And then they like go on to the next thing. You're like, come again? It's how long? And it was like it was just unexpected.
It was again the talk of like first I think everybody was in shock. They're you could hear people like just kind of whispering of like, I think we have to walk that. I think that's what we have to walk, because you could see the crew walking it, and there's no other bridge or anything that's closer.
I mean, there's water. You could swim it.
But you could start hearing like, okay, yeah, we're gonna have to walk that. Everybody like be prepared because we're gonna be walking. Like everybody on the ship, guests, they're just kind of like, okay, I guess we're walking that.
And the weird thing was they didn't mention it. Disney didn't mention that before, like any of the maps or anything that you saw. Like it didn't show a bridge, so I don't know why they didn't talk about it before, so people could be prepared. But that was, I feel like the big headline was the walk. But the reason that they did it, I think, was a great reason. There is a naturally very shallow seabed surrounding that part of the island, maybe the entire island, but the part that Disney owns. So in order to protect that and not dredge it all up, they just moved the dock further away to a safe distance. And that's why you have to walk the bridge. So it protects that ecosystem. And so it makes sense.
Yeah.
It's shocking.
Now, okay. So we've gotten over the shock. We talked about the shock. Just the initial shock, right?
Yeah.
Now we're getting off the ship and gonna make that walk.
We're walking the walk.
And one of the things that kind of initially, when you get off at Castaway, there's like the towel, like I don't know, it just feels like a little bit more like inviting.
Like as soon as you get off the ship, boom, there's things.
So it doesn't feel like I'm at a dock.
Yeah.
And this one, it felt more like a dock. Like there was
just
like
all metal and like.
Well, it was just like the one small dock, and everybody starts walking. I think this is my like prediction. They're gonna have some kind of welcome signage to kind of like get people excited, because right now you saw your walk, your half a mile walk.
I think it's half a mile.
Your half a mile walk, and there's nothing to kind of like give you that, like give me some motivation.
Right. I need something to walk towards.
Yeah. Give me something to kind of like, okay, let me prepare myself to go. I think they need some kind of like welcoming, maybe some music, just something, right?
Yeah. I mean,
not just through the stereo, but like getting people excited.
Not to like call out Royal Caribbean, but Royal Caribbean, they have a little bit of a pier that you have to walk down, but they have huge like Perfect Day at Lookout Cay, and they have things to walk towards, and they have shade sails, and they have all of these things on there. It's definitely not as long of a walk, but you instantly feel like you're already in the action before you even get to the action.
Exactly.
And I think that's what you're saying is like, put some color out there, put some theming, because they did such a fantastic job of theming. I truly think they did so good. But you don't get any of that until
to the island.
you're
Or to the,
cranky because you've walked. Because
yeah.
we timed it. It took us 13 minutes to walk with our family. But that's because we're capable of walking.
well, and we have a 5-year-old and a 9-year-old they're able to walk. But towards the end of that walk, there was, I'm tired. The whining starts. Because again, the other part of it, none of that bridge has shade. There's no awnings to kind of like take a break, stop, and catch your breath.
And it was sunny.
And it's sunny. And you're carrying whatever beach toys, anything that you're bringing with you, you're carrying it with you. So
yeah, you were like, we should bring the fans, like our neck fans,
yeah.
in case we get too hot out there. And I was like, great idea. We brought them. Never once used them, but we lugged around probably an extra 10 pounds.
Yeah. Well, and again, we're taking it step by step, going through the island, and we'll get into like how it, just kind of ease of it is.
Yeah.
How easy it is to like navigate it or whatever.
But yeah, I mean, but it's a long walk. If you do have mobility needs, they do have golf carts that will take you down there, but you have to wait for them.
And I think right now is that growing pains time.
Mm-hmm.
They were trying to figure out, and again, I there's different things because I think the next voyage after us, they had like a cool towel table in the middle of the bridge. So I think they kind of like, okay, we need to have something just to kind of like, here's a midpoint of you getting halfway.
Yeah.
So I think there's gonna be some changes.
Right. Well, they had the cold towels back at the ship. So like once we were done at the island,
that's at the end of the day.
That was at the very end of the day. Yeah. They
but
also implemented that like going out.
I'm talking about going out.
Yeah, which is smart.
So they have that now, and then they didn't really have like indications of there was golf carts.
You just kind of had to like ask around or just hope that you saw one and you knew.
There wasn't anything like, oh, here, just wait here if you need a golf cart and it'll take you.
But here's where I get like people that, they're in ECVs and scooters and they need that help. They've got canes or whatever. They need that help. They can get that help. But what about young families? People that are bringing their babies that are typically in strollers. You're not going to want to bring a stroller out onto the beach. Like strollers as it is just like collect like dirt and stains and sand and crumbs. But like I would never want to bring my stroller
is you're going to have to take some
beach.
Like you're not going to carry, if
all
it's
your
car
stuff.
seat and, and a, or, just whatever it is. Like if it's a car seat or if you're carrying the kid and your bag,
it's too much.
It becomes a lot.
So something to take into consideration.
Yeah.
The other thing that our big downfall is we did not refill our water bottles before leaving the ship.
There was no refill stations.
There was no water stations.
Even when you got to the first, like to the main area, the mainland, there was no water to fill. Like you could go buy water, but not to refill water.
I think there was a bar, but everybody was thirsty at that point, and it was a tiny little bar, and it was like, I don't want to wait for that. So okay, we make it across the bridge, right? Like we're not going to go through our entire day, but we'll talk about different elements of it. So you make it across the bridge. There's a tiny little area there that you can do your private boat rentals. There was a bike rental. There was a small bar. There was a small little gift shop area. And then there are cabanas over there. And then the last thing that's over there is your tram stop. So after you've walked across the bridge, then you have to get on a tram. And it is a 10-minute ride from the tram to get to Lookout Cay.
So it was a 10-minute walk, just to kind of
if you're walking
into
quickly,
perspective. Like I know we're not trying to go day by our entire day, but this is a timing thing.
Yeah.
10:30 is when it started. They let us off the boat.
Right.
10 minutes at least.
At least.
To walk to the land.
That's if you're not stopping to take pictures of the boat on the way back or anything else that you want to do,
it's
right?
Just a straight 10 minutes. Then from there, you got to get in line for the tram. And that's not buying any drinks, not buying any, because we stopped for souvenirs or for
the sweet spirit jersey I've got on.
So it was like, because the stand is first and last stand or something. It was like,
yeah, something like that.
Because it's like the first stand, and then when you leave, it's the last stand. Yeah. So it was cute.
It was cute.
Cute naming. But you spend some time there, and then you get in line for the tram.
Or it was first chance, last chance, maybe.
Maybe
it was cute, something cute like that though.
And but you go get in line for the tram. the tram went fairly quickly. Like for the next,
It's every 15 minutes is what
they
I'm
pick them
hearing.
up. Okay,
Yeah.
so we only had to wait for one tram or one set of trams to go, and then we were able to get on. So
Right.
it wasn't too bad. But they don't have like organization, so we got separated. So you
Yeah.
know, I was with one kid, you were with one kid, and we were on two different rows because we got on, and I was like, wait a minute, where's my family? And they're like, oh, you had to just get on when you.
Every man for themselves, because everybody was excited to get out there, and it's fair. But yeah, it was.
But then there was a 10-minute tram ride to the main.
And here's what I liked about the tram ride. It's 10 minutes. It's a long time. Like, think about getting in your car and driving 10 minutes, how far away you are.
Yeah.
Like, that is a long time. But one thing that they did really well is they start setting the scene for what you're about to experience at Lookout Cay. And that they have a narrator that's talking about the island and the culture and all of these things with Eleuthera. And they have a theme song. It's really cute that you hear, like, during your 13-minute walk across that bridge, you hear that theme song over and over, and it gets stuck in your head because it's really good. But they talk about the culture. They talk about some of the wildlife and the things that you might see there. They've got like little kid actors that are talking that are like a crab and I forget what they are. But anyway, they teach you about things as you're going over there. So you're listening to it, and it helps pass the time.
I think you're listening because there's
nothing to see.
nothing to look at. Like it truly is like a reveal when you get to the main area, because you're just kind of going down this.
Nothing's themed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Along the tram path.
And all the trees that they've planted are still young, so it's very small.
Yeah.
So there's not too much to look at.
But I did appreciate that they try to mentally shorten that tram ride by telling you what to expect and all of these things. Very clever. Well done.
Yeah.
I appreciated that, because on Castaway, you don't get that. You're also not on the tram for 10 minutes, but you don't get that. You guys, a couple of y'all got a good little nap on the way back on that tram ride.
I mean, on the way back, it was
like
done.
The people mover.
Yeah.
Just out. Okay, so you get to Lookout Cay. And here, to me, was the biggest difference in Lookout and Castaway. Here, when it drops you off the tram, you are in the center of everything that Disney has built for this island destination. With Castaway, you basically enter on one end, like you get off and you get on the tram and you enter on one end of the action, and you can walk as far into the island as you want. You can walk all the way to the secluded adults only area, or you can stop right at the family section. With this, it drops you off in the center. It's really cute. They've kind of got like a little market square where they've got a nice big gift shop. They've got a cultural center. They've got guest services. They have lots of things, and it feels truly like you're visiting an island. It feels a lot more natural to me.
Yeah.
It felt more Bahamian than Castaway. Castaway feels
and
very...
one of the things that I don't remember who I was talking to, but basically they had input from the Bahamian cult, like just someone from a representative from the Bahamas to kind of give that same feeling.
I think it was multiple people.
Yeah. So, but they had like that input of keeping it as close to what they would normally have.
Right.
So I think that's why they kind of have like that little town, like, center with all the different shops, and then it branches off from there.
Yeah.
But again, let's kind of bring it back, because we're talking about families. I think this is the important discussion that we're having.
Right.
The kids have done a 10-minute walk, 10-minute tram ride. And our kids are pretty patient. They started to become not so patient.
You and I were not so patient at that point either. Like,
because again,
kudos to them, because you and I were like,
on top of it being warm, on top of you carrying whatever that you're bringing with you, and then once you get there, you have to get a towel.
You have to carry all your towels.
You have to carry all your towels, because they don't have right now. And I think that's a. I'm not gonna ding them for that. I think that's something they're gonna learn, that hey, towels need to be out wherever the beach is not one central spot.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to ding them for that, but I think it was carrying 4 beach towels was not fun.
No, it was not.
But again, the kids were getting a little bit impatient. They weren't too keen on, and again, the shop was crowded. So let's go get them entertained.
Right.
And so immediately we kind of went to the kids section.
Yep. Sebastian's Cove. So it's.
But I'm gonna another growing pain.
Yeah.
This is what we're gonna call them, the growing pains.
Okay.
There was no map.
No map.
So the only way we knew is you could just kind of look off in the distance. There's some kind of slide. Let's go that way. And,
yeah, that was. There's no maps at all. Like no big
at this
maps.
point, at the point that we went, there was no maps.
There may have been like paper maps that you could get at guest services, but we just kind of went off assuming that there would be signage. There is no signage for where you are relative to anything else.
Yeah.
So, like you said, we went over there. We did stop. We got plenty of water. We refilled all of our water bottles that we didn't drink out of. So
Got
then we
some
were
soft
carrying
serve.
another 10 pounds worth of stuff on our shoulders. Got some soft serve. And so from the tram stop to, if you get off the tram and you go right, it was probably a 5-10 minute walk to the kids club. Because you're trying to
okay.
look around and see
I
the
think
other
it was 5-10
stuff.
minutes because we're looking around. But
We're looking because we also don't know where we're going,
Yeah.
right? And so we're trying to figure out what it is. Like, okay, here's the food over here. There's a bar over there. There's the play.
Yeah, and you passed
pavilion.
one of the rest or the
the
bar.
barbecue, the True Barbecue, or True Barbecue. They've got some.
I think it's True and then True 2.
I don't know.
Yeah.
This makes no sense to me. But so finally we make it over to the kids club. They were closing the open house because we're there. We're trying to film things. They're closing the open house in 1 minute. So we're like, okay, fine. We go get the kids checked in and they're like, we're closing in 2 hours so we can do another open house. So make sure you pick up your kids by then. We said, okay, perfect. Because the kids wanted to go play. We're like, they loved it. Absolutely loved it in there. They were like, we'll spend this time getting some content, exploring everything that there is here, and then we can go hang out in the adults only area. We never get to do that. We've never done that on Castaway because the kids didn't really want to go. They wanted beach. But they were excited for the kids club this time, for Sebastian's Cove.
Yes and no. Our son, he likes to tag along with us, but it was one of those things that, hey, buddy, we're going to be just taking pictures. We're not going to be playing. We're going to be just do more walking. And I think once he was like, okay, y'all going to be boring for a little bit. I'm going to go play.
Yeah.
And so that's when we were like, we'll pick you up later when
it's time to do
play.
The beach and have fun. So so we dropped them off and then immediately found a cast member and we're like, where's the adults only beach? And what did she tell us, Steven?
Again, this is I'm going to chalk this one to a growing pain. She was very nice. She's like, oh, I'm so sorry. This is my first time on the island. I don't know where it's at.
I wish you well.
And so I was like, all right, well, good luck to you. Give her a little salute. And
we said, bar's this way, so let's go get a drink and let's go figure it out.
And I feel like I have pretty good navigating skills. So I kind of look off to the distance to further to our right from the kids club. And there's one or two more bars, or one more bar, and then the play area. Yeah. And so I was like, okay, maybe it's past that. So you kind of walk past it, and I see a couple coming back. I'm like, oh, is the adult area over there? They're like, no, that's to the nature walk. Right. So like, okay, and we kind of go over there to check it out, but some of it's closed off because it's still under construction. Right. But again, it's just the nature walk to the actual lighthouse.
To the lighthouse of Lighthouse Point, the lighthouse.
Yeah. And so we're like, okay, that's not the adult area. So this is it feels like the end of the island. Right. And so let's start making our way across the beach to the adult area. Right. And it was not, I enjoyed it because it's this decking, it's all over sand, and there's decking, and you see the beach kind of the entire time. Mm-hmm. And then there's the bars, there's small bars. They've got little showers. Yeah. So it's like, here's this beach area with the bar, like kind of like there. It's very like divided. It feels like here's a bar, here's a the beach area.
But it's like repeated. So every
Multiple
bar was
times.
the same. It had showers in it, and then it had beach beyond that.
Yeah.
And so it didn't really matter where you planted.
And the bars didn't have like different things.
No.
So it was like, here's the first one. It was the Reef and
Wreck.
yeah. And then it goes to that, what I was talking about, the play, which is kind of it kind of accompanies the kids area.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't know if there's drinks there.
No, that was just
so
a
it's just
pavilion.
like just a pavilion type of thing.
So you could do like Connect Four and hula hoops, and I think Chippendale came out there at some point, and they've got like counselors that'll help like lead games and stuff. So if you want to go out there and do that, you can. But the beach itself was pretty much the same. Each area was kind of anchored by the bar, and then
it's like
beyond that was all just beach.
Yeah,
it was wonderful.
and it's again it's kind of weird to explain, but there's like decking that kind of it runs parallel to the beach,
mm-hmm.
and
so
then
you don't have to walk in the sand, which is lovely.
Yeah,
like there was no sand on it at all.
Yeah,
which was
at this point, but you're walking along, and then you could kind of cut in, and that's when you get the whole like beach, a bar beach.
Yeah,
area.
It like steps down into the beach,
and so it was like really nice because we kind of just like went along, checked out the bars again, seeing if there was anything different.
Yeah.
We were kind of like in that content mode of like, okay, this one has this one, but none of them have anything different. So we're like, okay, you could go to the very end, and there are the kids, or come closer to the middle where there's a lot of people, because then you get to
it's called Rush It Gush It Water Park,
which looked pretty cool. We didn't go in it, but there was a lot of
it's like water slides. It's like a true little water park, bunch of water slides, a lot of I think splash pad areas, and it's set just back from the beach. It's on the beach, but it's not quite on the beach. It was nice and separated. They had lifeguards out there, but it was for all ages.
Yeah,
so everybody could go enjoy it.
Now I will say, we didn't go on it because we were playing in the beach, but our son, just from like looking at it and asking him the comparison of the Castaway Cay jungle gym that's in the middle of the water as opposed to that, he was more excited about like, oh, next time I want to go do that.
Mm-hmm.
And one of it's funny, again, we're kind of picking his brain. We're using him as like, okay, what was your assessment of it?
Right.
One of the things he didn't like about the Castaway Cay one was because it's out on the island.
In the water.
So you have to swim out there.
Yeah.
So you have to have a proficient enough swimmer. Even, he's 9, but you have to know how to swim.
Right.
But there's one lifeguard out there, but there's nothing but kids. And some of the kids are not nice.
And it's like monkey bars and like ropes course type things.
So one of the things like he complained about was like there was just some kid being a jerk.
Like bullying, yeah.
And just like shaking them off the rope, like because they're trying to do the rope monkey bars and shaking the rope and making them fall in, and then kind of standing over the place that you have to actually climb into it. So you have to like swim to the next.
Yeah.
So it's not as fun, and once you get put off of it as a kid, you're not gonna want to go there. And I think that's kind of was his like, oh, I'd rather go do that because there was adults in there, like you could play with your parents or whatever.
Yeah.
And go up and down the slide or whatever. So I think that's something to consider, is like if you have kids that really want to do it and are pretty good about like defending themselves and the kind of like
older kids. It's older kids because like our daughter.
But that's not even the older kids area, because on Castaway there's another area that's for like older kids
for the older
as well.
kids, yeah.
Because they have another like a play area
out in the water
on the water as well. So we've never even gone over there because our son doesn't really enjoy going onto that smaller one, like the first one that you get to in Castaway.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, going back to Lookout, you have that gush and
rush it, gush it,
and then you can keep continuing. So we've passed one restaurant, and then we're at the second restaurant. We're starting to get hungry. So we're like, okay, we're gonna make it to the adult
Yeah.
area.
We're
How much?
gonna eat at the. You
How much
told me there was
further?
food there,
How
so we're
much
gonna
further
eat
do we
there.
need to go?
We've
And
passed the tram stop. Like we passed Russia
the
Gusha. We
middle.
passed the restaurant. Then you hit the tram stop in the center. You pass the second restaurant. I'm like, keep them. They fed the kids in Sebastian's
Yeah.
Cove. Like we weren't just abandoning them. We're like, man, we're real hungry. We should take these kids somewhere, and then we go eat. We knew they were gonna feed them,
Which
so
is cool.
it was really cool.
Yeah.
So then we keep going. We pass cabanas. We'll get back to the cabanas in a second, and then we get to
The Serenity Bay
which
or Serenity.
Serenity Bay.
Yeah.
That's right, which is the adults only area. It was just like where we happened to run into the nature trail at the end of the other
It's
end
the
of the
opposite
island.
end. So
It
it's
was
the opposite end of dropping off the kids. which-
every time you say dropping off the kids, I'm just like, please don't say that. But yeah, it's the opposite. It's a 10-minute walk at least,
Yeah.
maybe 15 minutes from dropping the kids off at Sebastian's Cove to get to the adult only area.
The thing that the walk, I wasn't too like,
It was fine because
disappointed.
we were looking around.
yeah, I wasn't too disappointed by that. The thing I was more disappointed was I was expecting more like Castaway, where it's a different area.
Yeah,
Like
it's
I don't want to see
secluded.
kids.
Yeah.
And this one is, because that decking is pretty much parallel to the water, it's just a little bit further out. But you could see, the families,
Yeah.
still out there. There's not like a cutoff of.
No.
And I think that for me, because again, we didn't have the kids, I wanted adult time. It didn't feel like complete, fully adult time.
It didn't. And the food that they had over, I forget what they called that area, but the food area over there, it was a limited menu of what they had in the larger restaurants, which was fine. Like the food was fine. Like I'm not going to
I think that was
the island for great food.
So something we were talking to other people was they typically in the Serenity Bay, like a Castaway, they have different food.
Yeah.
And this one they didn't have. Like it was pretty much the same food
Yeah.
throughout the whole. So if you wanted to go eat, just go eat somewhere and then
go to the beach.
But again, this is not a chalk to or
like a knock.
a knock to this or to the island, but there wasn't that many kids because this one was a
There was
preview.
hardly anybody on the beach.
There was preview cruise and media on our voyage, so there was a lot of adults. So Serenity Bay area was like completely full.
It was
Whereas
crowded.
opposed to the other areas, they were way more empty.
It was crowded, and here was some of the things that we learned about the adults only area. So if you are in a family that's going to visit and you want to take advantage of the adults only area, here's a few things to know. Like you said, go eat at one of the larger restaurants because you've got more food options and it's larger. You
More
can probably,
space.
yeah, you can find a seat. The bars, they're all the same across the island. So get a drink at one of the other bars because there's one bar in Serenity Bay to service everybody, including the cabanas that are there. And those are the Serenity Bay cabanas, meaning that I believe that they're adults only. So if you're in a cabana and you're ordering drinks, you're waiting for your server is getting the drinks from the same bar that I walked up to.
Yeah.
And the bar service was really slow as a result of it being so crowded there. And it's the first day. And there was only like 2 of the bars on the island that actually had blenders so they could make frozen drinks.
Yeah. And I think this is where I think, I talked about the improvements that, the awnings, the welcoming. If you remember when we talked about when you first get over there, there's cabanas on like at the beginning of the island.
Before you get on a tram.
Yeah.
Right after you get off of the bridge.
These are what we found out are family cabanas, which is so weird because this one, they look like secluded by themselves. They have their own bar.
Quiet.
And I mean, you see the ship. I don't understand how they flipped them. Like, I think those should have been the adults only cabanas because you have your own bar, you have your own island basically. And the ones that, and the cabanas that right now they have indicated as the adult ones, you have to walk past them. Like on that decking, you're walking past them. You don't have like
It's
privacy.
not secluded.
It's
no.
not secluded. Like you have to walk past them to
It's
get to.
loud.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the Serenity Bay cabanas are between the family beach and the adult area. I was like, oh, I wouldn't want to. I wouldn't
but again,
personally.
then if you have the family right there, they're going to be right next to the adults. So I don't. Yeah, I don't get it.
I don't get it either. It didn't make sense to me the way that they had the cabanas laid out at all. Because if you're a family, and this is what we're really trying to talk about here is bringing your family to Lookout Cay. Yes, I got it right. If you wanted to get a cabana, great, splurge on it, go have fun. But then if your kids want to go to Rush It, Gush It, to the water park, if they want to spend time in the kids club, you're having to get on a tram and go all the way over to the rest of the action. You could spend all day in that cabana and not see any of the stuff at Lookout Cay. So it's like, why would you spend your money on that?
And as far as food, you have to go take a tram to go get food.
No, I'm pretty sure
Okay.
they'll bring you food. I don't know how. We're not cabana people. But I'm pretty sure if you wanted food, they would bring you food. But yeah, if you wanted like soft serve, I don't even know what you would do. Like
Yeah.
that did not make sense to me that they have that one piece of it completely separate, and why they didn't build everything right there on that side of the island so you can see the ship, because that's kind of the cool thing about being on a cruise and going to an island destination like that is like you see your cruise ship and you're like, oh, that's real cool, take a picture in front of it, whatever. You don't get that here.
And then from that, we got to the adult area. Again, it was kind of full. Again, I'm not knocking it for that, but we were at that crossroad of like, do we get in the water because we have to go pick up the kids in like
it was like
20
minutes. Yeah.
So we're like, nah, let's go ahead and just like hang out. So you're just hanging out on the beach, which is fine. Again, it's beautiful beach.
Beautiful.
But it's like, you're now waiting because I have to go pick the kids up, and again make that trek back to go pick them up.
Right.
So I think again that's where we started looking at it afterwards, that Castaway was kind of nice because they have the I think it's Scuttle's Cove.
Scuttle's Cove, yeah.
Yeah. So they're kids club, and it's near the tram, so you could take the tram, drop the kids off, take the tram over to the adult area,
right?
And then you would have to take, or you could walk back, but you could take the shuttle or the tram back to pick up the kids whenever you needed to,
and then just go visit the family beach right there.
Yeah.
But yeah, in terms of like navigating the island, it feels like they thought, well, maybe instead of like in Castaway Cay where you enter from one end and you walk as far as you want and we've got these trams, they were like, let's drop you off in the center and you can decide which way you want to go. But I don't know if maybe they were thinking that families or guests were only going to go one direction and not the other. But it's a lot of doubling back.
Yeah. Yeah.
And maybe they just want you to walk past that gift shop enough. Because they did also have another little gift shop area that had local vendors. And so here's where I think it really shines. The island itself is absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
It was gorgeous. The theming, all of the things that Disney did to the island were really beautiful, but then just the island itself was really beautiful. They instilled a lot of the culture, the Bahamian culture, into a lot of the things they did. There's lots of murals, all of the structures and everything they did. They made sure to keep in mind that it was, aside from that bridge, that's just like a metal bridge. They made sure to keep where they are in mind. Fantastic job with that. The beach was
But that's
stunning.
Nothing from Disney. That's just like the
I mean, good real estate.
Yeah.
Right?
It's the beach was absolutely the best part. Just going on, and they were like pink sand.
It's pink sand. The water's so clear. It was warm enough that you could get in and not be like, whoa.
And I think one of the things that the biggest difference, and maybe I didn't notice it till afterwards because we were talking to a family member, but the way Castaway is, it's
like a cove.
The water is very still.
Mm.
It's not as like moving, and over at Lookout, it moved more. So I don't know, it felt like more fresh to me. Like I was like fine getting in it and moving around.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because the way Castaway, it's a cove. It's like a sea, so it kind of like curls in on itself, and so you don't have like the ocean waves to really move it. But this was truly, you looked out and you don't see any land at all.
Yeah.
Which it was nice. Like I know we've talked about a lot of the growing pains, like you said with Lookout, but picking between that and Castaway, funny enough, I was talking about like, oh, we had to walk all the way this way, all the way that way. It's a long walk. It's this and that. I would want to go to Lookout again.
Yeah, I mean, I think when we were kind of having that conversation, one of the, like, before I forget, because I know that everybody talked about the walk, and immediately, but there was like the flies, which
the natural ecosystem.
is the natural ecosystem. But I think that's another one that I think it's a growing pain. They're gonna figure that out.
They will.
But I wanted to make sure we talked about it because, that was
it was gross.
Yeah. It was something that, like, oh man, like I don't really want to eat a whole bunch of stuff, or like, let me get my small portion.
It was like you would do this with one hand while you're like trying to eat with the other hand. It made for fun activity.
I definitely got my workout. But I did want to point that out. But going into this conversation, we knew we wanted to talk about it. We were like, okay, what was our experience? And we knew that what's our experience as a family.
Yeah.
Taking the kids, how it is to carry the stuff. We don't have strollers, but it does allow you for a stroller, but at the same time, you're going to have to be lugging a stroller around like this terrain.
Carrying it on the tram.
The deck and everything.
Yeah.
So all that, all to this, like, we're looking at these different, I wouldn't even say negatives, but just these considerations.
Yeah.
Like I enjoyed it. I enjoy, like, I don't know what it was about it. I enjoyed it. I had a great time, and we actually stayed out there pretty much until it was all aboard. All aboard.
Yeah, all aboard. Time to get back.
I would think we left a little bit earlier because we're like, okay, we don't want to stay to the very end when it's like super crowded.
Yeah.
And we started walking back, but yeah, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the beach, and I think kind of that's what it comes down to, is like, if you're getting off, hanging out, you're hanging out on the beach.
Yeah. Even setting aside the whole things to consider as a family going, if you're just looking at Lookout Cay, when you want to get off the cruise ship for something like this, for a Castaway, for Lookout, what is it that you're actually looking for? For me, if I'm going to a private destination like this, like, I'm wanting the beach to be like a bomb. Like, I want to just go lay out and feel safe and not be bothered and just enjoy and drink in hand and just sun. That's all I want. I don't need to be entertained. Like the play pavilion and all that stuff, like they've got that stuff on the cruise ship. I don't need that.
And I think that's why we didn't do it. We were on the beach. We weren't wanting to need, or like, we weren't needing something to like make me have fun.
Right.
We were like just enjoying the water.
We're not excursion people. Like, we're not going to go on like the nature walks, and we're not going to go on like these like cultural tours or anything. Like,
but someone was telling us about the snorkeling. You didn't have to go way out into the water to see the reef. Like, you just like,
it was right. Yeah.
Knee deep, and you could just stick your head down. And so I was like, that's amazing. I don't know how long that's going to stay with everybody, with people, visitors and stuff.
These fish are probably like, what is this? What are these people doing in my house? But it was gorgeous. Yeah. It was, for me, if I'm getting off it at Castaway Cay, at Lookout Cay, at Lookout Cay, I just want to be out in the open air with my feet in the sand, just enjoying the beach. And this delivers hugely. Like, I will dream of that beach and that pink sand and that gorgeous water, because it was just a perfect day out there. Not to steal Royal Caribbean's thing, it was perfect. That beach was gorgeous. And we've been to Hawaii.
Yeah.
We've been to many of a beach on Maui. This was good. This was real good. Yeah. So
I don't know if we're given like grades or numbers or.
Oh, do you want to? Do we have a rating system?
Nah, we don't have a rating system. Again, I would go again. I'm not like.
Are you a cruise person? We didn't even talk about the
we
cruise.
didn't even talk about the cruise, but I think it's slowly the you could probably go back to the episode before I went on the cruise
Oh my God.
to like this one, and that Steven
Of this cruise?
well, yeah,
Or like
just
your
that Steven,
first ever
my
cruise?
first cruise.
Oh, okay.
Like that Steven that was so hesitant to go on a cruise.
Yeah.
Speaking to now this Steven, there's so much difference that
You're so tanned still. So relaxed.
yeah, the cruise life is pretty cool. So
Oh man. So the thumbnail, the next time we talk about like cruising and specifically, it's not going to be you like a sad Long John Silver Steven and me with chicken tenders in hand.
Yeah.
Oh, it was a good thumbnail though.
Yeah, it was.
But yeah, so okay, let's sum it up. It was absolutely a great destination to go to if you're going on a Disney cruise. I would look for an itinerary that has Lookout Cay on it because it was gorgeous. It's got growing pains. It's early. We were among the first guests on the island. So there are things that we experienced that you're not going to experience if you go there. Like instantly they started making changes. So
and I think as a family, that's something to consider is if it's something that you want to experience because you're an early adopter of things and you want to go see it and go try it out and kind of like help evolve that, then go for it. But if it's something that you want to make sure that you have a great time, I might suggest waiting. Just wait till it gets past those growing pains and they've come up with solutions for
the flies.
Just like the family solutions, because again, we're talking about just a family with young kids. There could be a family with younger kids. There could be a family with young kids and elderly parents with them. So it's like a whole bunch of people. So sometimes Disney has like a family of 15 or something.
Right.
Like how is that gonna accommodate that?
Yeah.
So I think that's always something to consider is if you want to go and experience it because you're like, I got to experience the newest thing. Yes, you're going to have a great time because it's a beautiful beach and they have plenty of stuff to do. But if it's something that you want to make sure that you and your family going to have a great time, I might suggest waiting.
Oh.
Just to kind of like get those growing pains.
Yeah, that's fair. Like you want to get your money's worth.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good. But the other thing, you can't control the weather though. Like our first time on Castaway.
That's always like, again, you can't. As far as we know, Disney can't control the weather. So
as far as we know, it was gorgeous. I am itching to go back already. It was oh god, I loved that. I loved the cruise. I loved the island. I loved everything about it. I sing the theme song for Eleuthera daily. But I think that is a good place to wrap this one up. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. And if you want some kind of behind the scenes content, maybe to hang out with us over on Discord, we do have 2 monthly chats with our Patreon members. We do a coffee chat and we do a cocktail chat. So if you're interested in doing that, you can come join our Patreon community. We'll put the link in the description. Until next time.